Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Branca's Creations and thank you for joining me. I must warn everyone that I did have something very peculiar happen to me just a moment ago. I was just about to start streaming and then everything froze. The images froze, the fans on the computer started dying down, and I thought to myself, quitting out of OBS and starting it up again seemed to fix the problem. Let's hope it was the only glitch of today. But based on my previous experience, when I get a glitch, I get a run of glitches. So that's something to look forward to for everyone. But for the moment, we are running. I hope everyone can hear me okay. My little audio thingy seems to go pew 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 pew. So I think I'm coming through loud and clear, and picture. I see picture. Hello to Jay. Hello, thank you for joining. Sadmac356, Retro Techie, Endless Infinity, Joe Williams, SW Jedi 101. Hello from Sydney. And John Roberts. Hello. So I was kind of seriously tossing up what to do in the live stream today. I had a few different ideas. I was thinking that I might actually start building my Macintosh SE from the ground up. So for those that aren't aware, Kai Robinson, very clever individual, have reverse engineered the Macintosh SE logic board, and he has sent me one and a few parts. I've got a lot of other parts as well, and I'm going to build it. The problem I have is that it is a through-hole board, which means that everything that goes on the board has to have every single pin soldered, and I'm just struggling with how I'm going to make that interesting. So instead I decided to go with the Macintosh Portable. Now the interesting thing is I have never recapped one of these before, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey Bruce, what are you talking about? That's utter nonsense. You've got a video on recapping a Mac Portable on your YouTube channel. But that is recapping a backlit version, and at just a glance, looking at this one here, which is the non-backlit version, it's really freaking different. So I'm just going to jump across to a top view here, and we'll have a look. That image keeps going in and out of focus, and for that I apologise. It's a little bit jerky as well, isn't it? Beep, 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 beep. Just zoom it in a little bit, shall I? I'll certainly do a bit of this. I've got this awesome camera here that's got. I've got this ridiculously cheap tripod head that holds this camera in position, and it's very difficult to actually get it to stay in the position I want it to stay in. But anyhow, I hope you can see that reasonably well. So here is a Macintosh Portable logic board. As you can see, it's a fairly sizable unit. If we compare it to like the size of Mac Plus or something like that, what we have here is a whole stack of RAM, lots and lots and lots and lots of RAM. And if you're looking at the backlit version of this area here all looks quite different. This thing here, which is called the hybrid board, that doesn't exist on the backlit version. There are capacitors under here on the backlit version. It's all very, very different. So I have no recapping guide for this, but what I have done is taken a nice high-res photo of this board, which I'm going to use to then make a recapping guide. But in terms of actually recapping it today without a guide, that may challenge me somewhat. But that'll be all part of the fun, won't it? Brock Gunter Smith, hello. Jay Orr, hello. Doing in my Mac Portables, one of each, and have been wanting to do the non-backlit first. Yes, well, at a glance, this one seems to have some of the same joys as the other one. Namely, it's got capacitors here living right next to plastic. I can see you, pigeon. So, getting these off is going to be a real headache because I don't want to burn anything. We've got these ones here. Oh, you can't see that. I'm going to move it here. Go away. These ones here that are living right there next to the I/O port, and that's living right next to the plastic. So these I/O ports, just where it says I/O device, the reason why it doesn't say something like keyboard or trackball is because they are interchangeable. For those who don't have a portable or have never used a portable, you have the keyboard. If you're a right-handed person, you have the keyboard here and the trackball there. But they are actually designed so that you can take the two out, and there's a little divider. You take the divider out, you slot the divider in on the other side, you put the keyboard on this side, you put the trackpad on that side. and then you just plug them in, and away it goes. It's a nifty little thing. I mean, I feel like it's a nice little bit of design. A lot of things we can say bad about the Mac Portable, but that was actually quite a cool thing. Now let's list all the bad things about the Mac Portable. Too heavy, too slow, used these RAM expansions here, which were nothing like anything else. So, completely and totally, I mean, if you're wanting to put RAM in these, you have to use a Mac Portable RAM expansion. I think it went up to 10 megabytes. Correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been 8 or 6, I can't remember. Put it this way, you could put more RAM in this than you could put in, say, a Mac Plus or an SE or something like that. So that was something. That was one good thing about it. What else is bad? Well, it's got surface mount electrolytic capacitors on it. I guess that's a bad thing. I can actually just see splidge here, just right here. Just around these caps, I can actually see that sort of where it gets a matte finish. I don't know, can you see that? It's just where you can see just in this section here, you see how it's not reflecting? That's all the splidge. So, yeah, gunge and scunge. Mike, hello, thank you for joining. Thanks for teaching me how to circuit solder, because I fixed a talking My Little Pony from the 80s to talk again. Well done, Jay Orr. That is, congratulations on that. That's fantastic. And I'm very glad to have helped with that. Thomas Armstrong, hello. Okay, where are we? 9 megabyte for the non-backlit and 8 megabyte for the backlit. Actually, that's another thing I really should point out about these. It's not one of my favourite things about them. The non-backlit version is really non-backlit. What I mean by that is you can't use these in half light. I mean, you can't see anything on the screen at all. So, the backlit version, if I was going to own one, and I would like to own one day, but if I was going to own one, I would definitely prefer to have the backlit version. It is a slightly more usable computer. It couldn't run off AC mains. It had to run off the battery. Yeah, it's a really, I mean, now, I have spoken to a person who has lots and lots of these, who says that he has run these off the AC mains and never had a problem. So I've always been told that it's bad and I don't do it, but who knows? Who knows? Okay. So the trick that I have with this one is I'm kind of going to have to take photos of it as I go, because, as I said, I don't actually have a recapping guide where I can just go, oh yeah, that's what goes there. Okay. Right, let me have a look here. And let me go to this. We'll take some photos using the little magnifier tool here. They're 10 microfarads, 16 volt. Someone's just sent me a text message asking if I can do work for them today. I potentially would have said yes had I not just started live streaming. I am not really in a position to be able to do work for people today. Even when I finish this live stream, I've got a whole mountain of other work to do. I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I can turn it into making loads and loads and loads of money, charge them ridiculous amounts of money. We'll see. Anyhow. Steve, hello. Thank you for joining. Right, okay. It had the fastest 68K processor, 68,000 processor Apple used, had more RAM expansion than SE, and the active matrix screen was beautiful when you could see it. Yes, this is very true. It's the very first time that I saw a Macintosh Portable in working condition. The active matrix LCD screen is just wonderful, wonderfully sharp. Really nice, clear image. Right, let's get started on this. I think I can't see what the rating of these capacitors are, so I'm going to have a look at it under the microscope, because it's the ones where they put the rating on the yellow goo. I'm having trouble with my microscope knobs. Oh. 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 Okay. Right, where are we? Open transport running on that 2SI. What is the story with open transport on that computer, huh? 1 microfarad, 50 volt. That's good, we got plenty of those. 1 microfarad, 50 volt. Okay, so they're 1 microfarad, 50 volt. Am I going to remember that? No. Do you do freelance repair at home full time? Yeah, so as Steve mentioned there, I am a web programmer by day, and then I do this sort of stuff, the live streaming, the repairs and everything in my spare time. And when I say spare time, I mean I don't have any spare time. But, and yeah, so, I mean, strictly speaking, when someone sort of contacts me and says, hey, can you do some coding on the weekend, I really should just jump at the opportunity. But as I say, I am kind of already committed to things today, and of course I'm committed to things tomorrow as well. But anyhow, we'll see what happens. I'm going to do the live stream. I'm going to put it out of my mind, and I might get in touch with them after the live stream and just find out what's involved. Yes, sadly the repair. There's no way that I can make the same money from doing repairs as I do from programming. It's just not possible. It's I can. If you were talking about, if you were to convert doing repairs into, say, an hourly rate, so like, say, for example, what I charge to recap something like this, if you were to then figure out how many recaps you can do in, say, an 8-hour day, and then you turn that into an hourly rate, it would probably be about a quarter of what I make doing programming. So it really does not make economic sense to turn this into a full-time pursuit. This is about keeping as many of these old computers going as possible. This is about having a little bit of fun. This is about creating content for the YouTube channel, and making a little bit of money at the same time. But it's really not a big sort of big money earner, that's for sure. Not a lot of bunts. Bunts, as in Bunsen burner, earner, yeah. Right, okay. Where are we? We are about to take these capacitors. I've got. Wow, I should have a photo of this, shouldn't I? Or at least maybe do a drawing. Because because there will be a recapping guide for this on the website soon, because I'm going to make it. But at this time, there isn't one. So, what have we got here? We've got. Piffer. Tell you what I'll do. I'll take another photo here, and I will write on the photo. How does that sound? So unprofessional. Hang on. Okay. This is the magnifier tool on the phone, which I really, really love. I might have to do these in little batches. Snap. Right. Okay. Save image. And let's go and have a look at this image, and we'll draw over it. Bing, edit, edit. Rotate. Done. Right. So, what have we got there? Oh, let's begin, shall we? I mean, I might get these through-hole ones out first. Shall I use the machine, or shall I just use a bit of solder wick? See how the solder wick goes. Everyone might say, why wouldn't you just use the machine? Well, I'll show you in a minute. When you're working with... Sorry. Yeah, I'm just assuming everyone knows what the machine is. The machine is my mechanical solder sucker thingy. This thing, which you go, and it sucks the solder into this little canister here. Now, they work incredibly well under certain circumstances, but the big problem I have here, just from looking at it, I'll put this under the microscope in a second, you'll see. Let's just get the microscope here, and I can show you exactly what I am referring to. Microscope big. Let's get this in focus. My goodness, so I feel like this is really low today. Right, now, where are we? Here. This here, it's not too bad, but a lot of the time when these components get put in, the pins get bent. And when the pins are bent, it makes it really hard to use the solder sucker machine, because you kind of need to put the solder sucker around the pin and then suck up the solder from around it. And when it's bent like that, it makes that very difficult. We're going to switch the machine on anyway. Patrick, is it meant to be pronounced goose or juice? I do not know. Dave, hello, thank you for joining. Hey, I'm late, what did I miss? You're not late, you were there right at the beginning. So you just came in, dropped in a message, and then left again. Shush. Okay, so, Blinds Bar. Hello there. Blind PC Guy did a channel rebrand a couple of weeks ago. That I dropped. Oh, okay, you're Blind PC Guy. There you go. New retro repair. The way to make money recapping is to use capacitors with a negative cost. Yeah, the way to make money from recapping is to charge an obscene amount of money for each recap. But I'm just not sure how well that would go down. Or do a really lousy job. Actually, even doing a lousy job takes time. My neighbour has just fired up a vacuum cleaner in their backyard. I think they're vacuuming the inside of a car. Oh no, that's their lawnmower. That's right, they use an electric lawnmower. I'd forgotten. So my neighbours, I don't think they have a mower of their own. They borrow it from someone else. And they rock up with this electric mower, you know, like one that runs off mains power. So I think it runs off mains power. I'm sure I've seen a lead hanging off it. But the problem is they let their grass get like this before they do it. They then rock up with this electric thing going. It's really funny. It's just a shame they've decided to do it today on the day that I'm going to be live streaming. So we're going to be listening to the sound of that the whole time. Won't that be fun? Won't that be nice? Right, I need my goggles on. And let's see if I can desolder this. Are you even getting hot? There are so many things you have to weigh up when you're removing these sorts of components. One of them, or not least of which, is minimising any damage that you might do in the process. Yeah, see, that's a waste of time. As I said, sometimes you do it one way and other times you do it another way. You know much about how the power circuit works on this one? Possible to modify the board to safely run off it, just an AC adapter? I can tell you 100% no. I have no idea. I do have a schematic for it. And so someone with a lot more sort of electrical engineering skills would probably be able to figure something like that out, because this particular board is one of the few ones floating around where there's actually a genuine Apple schematic floating around. Now admittedly it's a photocopy, but it does exist. So if there's some sort of brainiac out there, might be able to figure that out, maybe. Wow, look at the size of my soldering iron tip. What have I been up to? I know what I've been doing. I've been making blue scuzzies. That's been occupying a bit of my time lately. I've been building blue scuzzies for customers, because I am selling blue scuzzies on my website, recapamac.com.au or .com, whichever you like. And yeah, I was doing a lot of through-hole stuff with those, because they are through-hole. And right, let's see what we can do now. I will change the tip over when I get fed up with this ginormous one, but for the moment, it may actually serve in our favour. This sucks. One of the good things is because these are only 2 pins, I can actually grab this from the other side and try and pull it out while I'm desoldering it. But just as long as we're setting a decent expectation as to what the rest of this live stream is going to be like. It's going to be me swearing and wrestling with getting capacitors off. Okay, well, 1 pin is free. And he's out. And everybody cheers. Okay, so what do we got here? This is a 220 microfarad 25 volt. Let's see if I've got one of those. 25 volt. Here we go. 220. 25. Alright, what's next? I'm tempted to just do it this way for the rest, you know. Just try and melt the 2 pins. Oh, this one smells fishy. I'm going to put more solder on this. We have talked about this many times before. Why would you put solder on something that you're wanting to remove? And it's I know it is counterintuitive, but it does work rather well. Just like that. Do you ever check ESR on the caps you remove out of curiosity? I have in the past, in particular when there are ones that are really noticeably bad. I'm sort of just curious about what they're going to look like. I mean, hang on, let's have a look at this one under the microscope. I want to show you some juiciness. So we can check the ESR of this one for example. And we can test the capacitance now that it's out of circuit as well. So microscope big. So that ain't meant to look like that. Also, we've got some good quality solid leakage going on there. Yeah, isn't that nice? Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Now this one is a 100 microfarad 25 volt. I'll grab one of those. I think I'm going to need 2 of those actually. Let's just check. Right, so let's first of all check the capacitance. So I'm going to grab my Fluke multimeter here and we will just put this onto mode capacitance and we will get a little bit of a measury going on here. If I can get this still enough. Don't. Oh, piffle. Sorry, I'm going to have to get creative with the way I hold this thing. Okay, so this is currently reading 111 microfarad. So that's interesting. It's still reading within the range of capacitance. Now let's get the old ESR meter thingy, which is somewhere. Here we are. Alright, let's attach this one here, and this one here. Let's see what it says. Good if capacitor is less than 10 microfarads. Well, here's news for you folks. So, looking at this here, 100 microfarad 25 volt, I should be getting 0.32. 100 microfarad 25 volt, 0.32. And I am getting 8.65. Is that even right? Yeah. So 8.65 when I should be getting 0.32. So that's really not right, is it? Let's try this one, which is a good one, and we'll see what ESR we get for that one. 0.01. Look at that. We've got a very, very significant difference in resistance across those. So, yeah. Hello from Emily and Sam in Birmingham, Alabama, USA. Hello to Emily and Sam. Okay, all right. So there we go. There's that one. We know he's bad. I mean, not that. I mean, you know, we knew it was bad before we put anything on the tester, but we sort of proven it. Off. Turn off. Thanks for using. Goodbye. I really don't need my devices to say goodbye to me when I switch them off. Just kind of switching off is fine. I'm fine with that. That is not the ESR meter I expect to see. Were you expecting to see... were you expecting to see this? Which unfortunately does not have an ESR meter in it. So this one's not a bad little... just like little multimeter in terms of measuring, you know, sort of resistance and voltage and capacitance and stuff like that. But it's not an ESR meter. This is the DT71. What's very handy about these, of course, is it measures with these tweezers. So when you've got real little components and stuff like that, you can grab them like your little surface mount things. Very handy, but it's limited in what it can do. So it wasn't super expensive, so that's fine. Alright, so we got that one out. Let's try and grab another one. I'm going to do what I did last time, because I had fairly good success with that. I'm going to add some extra solder. I'm going to drop things. And then I'm going to... Oh, look at what I dropped. Oh. I dropped a little development board thing, which I don't need. Alright, let's whip this one off now. So I'm just going to get some of the solder off that. Like this one stinks too, by the way. So I'm going to put I'm going to put the iron here across both pins, so that they're both melting. And then I'm just going to try and work this cap out. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There we go. Out she comes. And this one, yeah, he stinks. He's also 100 microfarad, 25 volt. So there we go. Right, so let's get the solder out of the holes first. That's an important one. My apologies to anyone if I'm missing comments in the chat. I am while I'm doing this sort of stuff, I do sometimes miss them. It's not personal. You know, if you're wanting to ask a question, please feel free to do so. Put the little at Brankus Creations if you want to get my attention. And of course, as we always say, nothing gets attention more than a super chat. All right. Let's just get rid of all this gunk. Suck some solder out of the holes. There we go. Ready for new components to go in. And here's this one. This is the first one we removed. The bigger of the two. And there's a third one somewhere. There it is. I had to go and get some more solder wick the other day. I'm running a little on the low side. That solder wick is up in the house, not here, so let's hope I don't run out today. I have just gone through another 30 mil tube of what do you call that stuff? Flux. Most of it ended up. Look at that. Look at. Most of it ended up on the desk because of the way those stupid syringes work. Stroke it. Lawnmower ASI live stream. Look, on the bright side, at a certain point, he will have to move from the backyard up to the front yard. It's just driving me bonkers. What are you going to do? It is Saturday. It's Saturday here. Saturday, it's lawn mowing time, so can't really get too upset. I mean, I guess the thing that bothers me the most is the fact that he's using a lawnmower that's completely and totally unsuitable for the job, and so it takes him twice as long to do. I'm tempted to just loan him my lawnmower, you know, but then, you know, why? Just going to clean these up a little bit because they're a little bit tarnished from all that gunk on there. I want to just see these shine again. Yeah, well, actually, what I really need is I need a little cap. I need to make a 3D printer cap, which was suggested to me by Jay from House of Moth, the man of all the good ideas. I really need to... he's right up against the fence now, so... yeah, I need to have a little cap that I can stick on the end. I've never had one lose, you know, the gunk so quickly as this one. Now, the other challenge that I have now is I want to use these little 10 ones, the 10, but I'm not sure if I've got a plunger for that size. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Don't tell me I threw away the plunger of the other one. That would make me feel so stupid if I did. I mean, I know, because when you buy these, they don't always come with the plunger. You sometimes just get them like that, and so you need the plunger to go in there. And I suppose I could steal one from this. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I might end up just having to use the 30 again and just get splooge all over the place. So. Alright, so clean that up a little bit. Let's do the same with this one. Clean this one up a little bit as well. Scrape it till we get nice, friendly, happy copper. And then we'll put a little bit of Fluxaroonie on there. I got aluminium plungers. You can 3D print this. I hadn't even thought of that. Of course I can 3D print them. Consider it done. Right, let's get the wick again. Oh yeah, okay, so a little update on Joe's SE30. So for those who have been following it, Joe from Joe's Computer Museum, I think that's the channel, isn't it? My apologies if I get that wrong. He had a Macintosh SE30 with a lot of battery damage, which he did a lot of trace repair on. He wasn't able to get it working, so he sent it to Steve, because Steve from Mac 84, of course, has the microscope. He's able to go and get a much better view of things. So I went across to Steve. Steve had a bit of a go. He found some problems, repaired them, but the things still didn't work after that. Still didn't work. So the natural progression is to send it all the way to Australia. That's the most sensible thing to do. And so it has landed on our shores, but the problem is that it hitched a ride with some other stuff. And that other stuff is way up north east of where I am. A long way away, and so I need to get that. I need to get the board from that stopover point, and then I'll be able to have a look at it. And yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not. I'll tell you the one thing I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the repairs done already. I got a glance at some of the stuff that that Joe did in particular. Obviously, Steve did his work at the end, but Joe did some trace repair at the beginning with it. I think he's running some traces like across onto the other side of the board and stuff like that. I'm just really curious to see that. Now, I'm kind of torn with this one here. When this needs to be ultrasonic cleaned at the end. When I ultrasonically clean these sorts of caps, these little through-hole radial electrolytic caps, they have this exposed aluminium at the top. When you ultrasonically clean them, that aluminium at the top gets a little bit tarnished by the ultrasonic process, just the way it reacts with aluminum. And so I am tempted to kind of ultrasonically clean it and then put those radial caps on, but I happen to know that there are problems with this board, so I'm kind of hesitant to clean it until afterwards. Because I may end up having to do all sorts of repairs, and if I'm having to do repairs, then it's going to need to be ultrasonically cleaned again after those repairs. So, all right, let's get these little Hefeschmeut caps off. Probably a good idea to turn on the hot air station. The washing machine's on today, so let's see if we get a power outage, or see if I trip the fuse with the hot air station. Okay. Better put a heat shield in here because we do have plastic on the edge. There we go. Right, let's knock these off. These are the ones that have the yellow strip around them, explaining what size they are. And that yellow strip gets all melty when you go to remove them. So, don't like it. Don't like it. They're off. Michael's Workshop, hello. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, Michael makes a very good point. If I can't fix it, what happens then? There's only ever one SE30 that I have not been able to fix, and it was one that I worked on very early in my sort of, let's call it, recapping career, if you want to call it that. And I would actually really love to have another crack at it, having learned what I have learned since then. And I was supposed to get it, but the person who had it was actually looking to sell it, and I said, I'll buy it from you in its current condition. And he said, yep, no worries, I just need to pack it up. And I've been chasing him for probably over a year now. Have you packed it up? No, I haven't packed it up yet. Okay. Haven't found a box for it yet. Oh god, this fume extractor doesn't do much good over there. Okay, he's not mowing right next to me anymore, so it's hopefully a little bit more quiet. You'll probably still hear what do you call this thing, the fume extractor, but... Okay, I'm just using heat, I'm using flux, I'm using fresh solder, and what I'm aiming to do here is get these pads looking like new again. SW Jedi 101, to that question, the answer is absolutely no. I have virtually nothing for portables here. This is actually something that's quite frustrating. I don't even have my own portable. I don't have many parts. I don't have donor boards. I don't have spares. I am fairly well equipped to kind of repair things like traces and damage like that. But if it comes to actually swapping out ICs, I'm not in a good position at all. I have replacements of like these transistory things here. That's about it. Just going to scrape off the tarnish here. Make it look beautiful. Let's give this a bit of a clean. There were some traces around here I didn't like the look of, so I want to clean this up and have a close look at them. Bruce can't fix it. We'll come back to the States. And on Jay's desk, oh, J. If only he wasn't joking. How cool would that be? Make its way through all the Mac Yakkers. We'll let GT have a crack at it next. And then Grudy can have a go. Dana can have a go with some pliers. I'm just taking this off just to clean up these pads a little bit. I don't particularly like the look of them. I dare say this is a little diode. I think, but I don't know. Oh, Mike, of course. Jesus, I forget Mike all the time. I'm terrible with that. Mike's got to have a crack at it as well. We'll give it to Mike before Grudy, because Grudy will just throw it across the room. Okay, where are we? What is a flat Stanley? Brian Gorham, hello. Because I've been pretty much saying to people I don't want to take on problem jobs anymore. I just want to do straight recaps, because of the time that the other ones occupy. And of course, yeah, this this board that's coming my way, this SC30, is far from just a straight recap. Right, so we've cleaned that up a little bit. Let's plonk our component back down there. We'll hopefully be able to get nice, neat joints there. These pins are a bit fugly, but we'll just see. There's a hair in there. Let's burn that hair. Okay, just got a little bit of solder on the end of my iron here. See if I can get this into place and hold it there. I've got a really bad angle on this at the moment. In order for me to hold this correctly, I would be holding the tweezers straight up and down, which is kind of where the microscope is. Makes life a little bit difficult. Come on. Okay, at least we've got one that looks nice. So he's not going anywhere now. He says with zero confidence. There's two. Clean. There we go. That'll do. Oh, you didn't see any of that. My goodness me. There you go. There's the finished product. Sorry about that. Justin Morgan, hello. Flat Stanley is this cut-out paper man that people send places and take photos in front of landmarks. Oh, isn't that nice? I have probably seen Flat Stanley, but I did not know that was what he was called. Make sure that that exposed copper is tinned so that it's protected. Alright, so let's put some new caps down on this and that. So we've got our two little ones. Oh, let's start with the surface mount ones here. So these are 1 microfarad 50 volt, these two here. I have tantalums of those, which is what I am going to use. Oh, did the customer... Sometimes customers ask me to replace things with... I've just got this vague memory. Hang on. Oh, did I not bring my phone with me? No, I did. I took photos with it. Where'd I put it? Hey, who took my phone? There it is. I just thought I better just check my communications with this guy, because sometimes people ask me, in particular with boards like this, they're a little bit rare. They sometimes say, "Hey, can you not use tantalums? Can you use electrolytics?" Let's have a look here. 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 So let's have a look here. Now, I'm looking for this particular customer. See, this information should, of course, be in my job ticketing system, but it's not. Come on, where is he? Where is he? There he is. Right. I just have this vague memory. Okay, where are we? Sorry guys, I'm just reading here. Chatting about Goldman. Okay. Please take your time. No, he's happy with normal caps. He hasn't installed. Okay, cool. Alright. Yep, no, that's cool. There was no special requests for different caps on this. He's happy with happy with this. Just to go with tants. Tants. Let's get some. Get some. Go again. Right, 1 microfarad 50 volts, surface mount, tantalums. Let's make sure that doesn't fall down. When that does, it upsets me. I'm having a lot of trouble squeezing this out at the moment because we're right at the end of the tube. Yeah, I mean, I get that some people are trying to preserve the look of the computer, and I really have no problem with that. There we go, 1 microfarad 50. Let's get those on. I have the same way of putting surface mount components on. Some people will object, some people will say it shouldn't be done this way, but it is the way I do it. So, and the way I do it is I put flux on the board, float the component on the flux, hold the component in place with tweezers, put some solder on the tip of the iron, and then the flux helps that solder transfer onto the pad. Helicopter going overhead. Sneeze. Crooked. Okay. So he's stuck down on one side. Yeah, let's get the other one. Little bit of solder on the end of the iron. Hold the component in place. As I mentioned before, I've been making a lot of these blue scuzzies, and when I sell them as kits, I sell them with the surface mount, what do you call it, SD card holder already soldered to the board. So I've gotten really good at soldering those SD card holders. Right, let's spin him around and we'll solder the other side, or solder. Someone said to me the other day that I don't pronounce the D in solder. I suspect that's probably just my Australian accent. So I do pronounce the D, it's just not as pronounced in my accent. You know how I was saying I wanted to check out those traces before I put the components on? This is what happens when you don't concentrate. Look at them. Look at these. No breaks. Good. let's go and have a close-up look at these. In particular, this one here. Oh God, come on, you stupid thing. This little hole here gives me pause. This little guy. Yes, I am actually. I live on sort of like a helicopter flight path, so that's why I get actually a fair bit of helicopter noise here. There's obviously a sort of a helicopter airporty type thing somewhere around here. All right, so I'm feeling compelled to just run a very small trace for this one. I just don't like how thin this little sort of cuff around the top of the via is. It just concerns me. Does it concern you guys? It certainly concerns me. What tool are you using to scrape at the board? Okay, so I've got a few little tools that I use for various different purposes. The thing that I just used to then poke through that via is a modified needle. So this is just a normal sewing needle, and I've used a Dremel to actually thin it. Make it a lot thinner than the original, because these little via holes are absolutely tiny. So I use that to try and push a little bit of gunk through. So that's a tool that I use for pushing the hole through the via. When it comes to scraping, I'm using this. It is a surgical scalpel. This is what they use to actually cut people open. Made by Swan Morton in England, and it's, it's a surgical scalpel. There you go. It's a number 10 blade, and it fits onto a very dirty number 3 handle. And they are very sharp, and they're specifically designed for cutting skin, so you do need to be careful with them. But see, this is what really sucks about the Portable. Look at how small these little vias are, the amount of copper around the top of them. No wonder these things fail all the time. Stupid design. So yeah, anyhow, this is what I use. I go through these blades quite quickly, because when I scrape, they they do wear down, but they do a very good job of scraping, especially with that curved blade. All right, I'm going to flip this board over, because I want to try and suck some solder out of that little hole so I can run a little trace through it. That is living, oh goodness me. Trying to find these holes on the other side of the board's a nightmare. Well, let's see if it goes through first. This thing might just go through. Get a little bit of wire here. Right. Will it just go through, or will it meet some resistance from something? The answer is resistance. So I'm guessing there's either something in the hole, like UV solder mask, or it has solder on the other side. It has solder on the other side. It's one of these. Don't know which one. Let's just try all three, shall we? Or is it? Is it this one? It might be this one. I've lost my little tool. My little pokey tool. It just sort of seemed like there was gunk coming out of this one. It actually has UV mask. That's why I was getting resistance. I'm hoping I'll be able to go through now. Where'd I put the wire? There it is. NK Morpheus, hello. Jeff Barnard, hello. Alright. Oopsie. It's not working. I'm still not sure I got the right hole. Don't say it, Jay. I'm trying to just memorize some of these layouts so that I can recognize it when I get back onto the other side. I think it's this one. Dear. Ah, I lost it again. Wow, this is interesting stuff, isn't it? I think it's got solder on the other side. This thing is just messing with me, man. No, that's not right. To the right. Oh, okay, I had my finger in the wrong place. Sorry about this, guys. This is really, really boring stuff. It is one of these. What I might do is try and run a wire through one of these holes, and that will give me some orientation. That will help me figure out where I am in the grand scheme of things. I may give up on this. I can see copper in the middle of all these, and I don't know where. Right. 1, 2 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on the left. I'm getting bored with this. 1, 2 on the left, 1 on the right. Okay, so I think that one is that one. I think it's this one. This one here. This one. This one. I think. Wrong needle. GT, hello. I am currently in the middle of my most boring stream ever as I try and feed this little piece of wire through this tiny weeny little via on this Macintosh Portable board. However, I'm being met with resistance. It's like there is something in the middle of it. And that is possibly going to be enough for me to just say, stuff it! I cannot be bothered. So, I am going to assume. Now, I know that when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. But I am going to assume that lawnmower's back. Lawnmower that sounds like my vacuum cleaner. Anyone got any good movies to recommend? There's just been so much garbage lately. Really need something good to watch. I have a few of the streaming services here. Not a whole lot, but I have a few. So people can include things like Netflix films or Amazon Prime films in their recommendations. Can't one of your ultra bright flashlights show you exactly where the other side of that via is? Well, yeah, probably. Watch 000. I know nothing about that. Those Who Wish Me Dead. Those Who Wish Me Dead. I've heard of that one. Those Who Wish Me Dead. So, brief synopsis on those two films, please. I know I'm asking a lot. I'm 99% sure it's this one here. But they all just seem to have blockages. So what I may just do is check to make sure that I've got continuity. If I've got continuity, I shall pursue it no further. Beepity beep beep machine. Altered Carbon. Halt and Catch Fire. These are all good titles. I don't know any of them, but something that I can watch with the missus as well. Put it that way. Yep. We've got continuity, so I am not going to pursue it any further. I apologise for all the time I wasted doing that. Please accept my sincerest apologies. I just apologise for banging the microphone there as well. Alright, let's put a few little through-hole caps here. For that I will jump across to this view here because I can't really do these with the microscope. This one goes here, there's the plus, there's the minus. Put the cap through, I'll give it a little bend to these pins, not much, and then we'll just solder that down. Okay, here's one cap. Where's my clippers? There they are. Ping! Ping! Okay, the Hitman's Bodyguard. Oldie but goodie. Okay, I don't know that one. Zebra 27. Oh. $3,000 yen. I would only run a wire. First of all, it has continuity. It was mainly just a precautionary measure because I didn't like the look of it, but I've tested it. It's got continuity. I think I'm basically going to hope that it holds. You know, after being ultrasonically cleaned and everything, that I don't, you know, that it is going to be fine. I just think that all of the vias on these portables just look awful. That's just how they were made. But I would only run a wire across the board to the other side if there was truly no other option. I just don't like the look of it. I have done it before. It does work. If you make sure that you stick it down well, you know, it's fine. But I just don't like the look of it. I really, only if I absolutely have to. Just making sure that these are sitting nice and flush on the board, like that one wasn't. That's good. So this is, I'm doing this very differently to how I normally recap. If anyone is sort of watching this at the moment, you might be thinking, why are you putting new caps on when you haven't even finished taking all the old caps off? And that is because I don't actually have a recap guide for this one. I'm going to make one. I've taken high-res photos. I know what all these things are now. Assuming I can remember them all. So for that reason, it's just going to be a little bit easier for me to do this section at a time. And yeah, save me from sort of, you know, otherwise I just normally whip them off and then put new ones on. What are these? Are these the 1 microfarad 50 as well? I'm going to just take these ones off now because, good lord, how am I going to do this without frazzling the board? Let's see, I might need some aluminium foil. Aluminum. Stuff works as quite a good heat shield when you need to, and of course it's very malleable so you can put it into all different shapes. The problem I have at the moment is I've got this awful little spot here where I've got to try and get these caps off without melting the the reset button. Now I make it fairly clear on my website that while I take every care to avoid meltage on plastic, sometimes it happens. And when I say sometimes, I mean pretty darn rarely, but it's very hard for me to kind of guarantee that there will be no meltage. So I sort of say to people, look, you know, I'm careful, but just be warned. Okay, that's that one off. And I'm going to burn my fingers, I know that. 1 microfarad 50 volt, yep. That's a little guy. Good old aluminum. Now this stuff is often referred to as tin foil, and interestingly enough, tin foil has not been made out of tin in decades, so it is very incorrectly referred to as tin foil. Ow! Hot, 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 hot. Ouchies. Alright. Come on. It's kind of, the fork's got stuck to the bloody plastic. Let's see if I can resolve that. Where are we? That's what I need. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, we can't see what you're seeing. We can't see the microscope view. What are you doing to us? Why? Why? I'm just a little bit caught up in what I'm doing here. I will change it. Why must we be kept in the dark? Incidentally, the plastic that's used on the reset buttons is probably some of the softest plastic of anything on any sort of Macs, except maybe for the external cases and stuff like that. It's a very, very, very soft plastic, so it does actually, it is extremely easy to melt. You know, last week I said my least favourite computer to recap is the LC2. Well, I'm telling you, this one is giving it a run for its money. This sucks. Right, so 1 microfarad thingy, and what are these ones? These are 100 microfarad 25. Okay, we've already done 2 of those there, so at least we've got a lot of the same sizes. Right. Yes, this thing sucks. I don't like it. I won't stand for it. These are pretty gunky. They're all 47 microfarad 16. Very, very common size on these Macs. Oh, wow. Look at all that gunk. That is one of the grubbiest ones I've ever seen. Look at it. Ugh. That's nonsense. I've seen way worse. Right, let's get these two caps out. Going to use the same method I used to the other two. Going to add some solder onto the pins. Wow, this looks really bad on this side. You better have a look at that under the microscope. My watch is telling me it's time to stand. How? Hello, Dana. Thank you for joining. Oh man, I was meant to tweet that I was doing this. I forgot to. I'm still new to that twiddly thing. Oopsie. Okay. He is leaking profusely. So Dana, I'm just going to give you a quick little recap, and for the benefit of anyone else who has just joined recently, this is the Macintosh Portable board. It is the non-backlit version, so the first version. And so far, it sucks. I have not enjoyed any of it. So, just so that you know. Just want to share. Watch Airplane. Do you know that that movie is not actually called Airplane in this country? How about that? That film has a completely different name. What's the Zucker guys? Was it the Zucker brothers or something that did those movies that all had a very similar sort of comedic thread to them? As much as I enjoy Airplane, of course, I've seen it so many times. If I was going to watch a Zucker movie, I would probably be more inclined to watch Top Secret. I absolutely love that movie. With Val Kilmer. I keep looking for the same thing in the same place, and I found it. Right, let's get the old solder out of the hole. Make sure we get all those fumes up in our face. Real Genius with Val Kilmer. Now that is an interesting one. That's an obscure one. I'm not sure one could go as far as to say that that is a good film, but I did enjoy it as a teen. Anyone who hasn't seen it, one of the great lines from the beginning of that is someone walks up to Val Kilmer and says, "I hear you're one of the smartest men in the world," and he said, "Yes, but one day I hope to be two of them." Can you believe people used this huge brick of a computer back then? Did they actually use it though? I don't know. I think that's the question, isn't it? One of the good things about doing the work that I do is I get to play with these things. You know, I don't actually own a portable, but I have actually had an opportunity to play around with someone's Mac Portable quite a bit. So I kind of get that chance to have a bit of a play and whatnot. I think I still would like to have one. I am not one of these collectors that just keeps collecting more and more stuff, and more and more and more and more. I have very specific kind of things that I'm looking for. You know, there are times when you just get an opportunity to get some stuff real cheap and you might end up grabbing it. For instance, I have a whole bunch of computers in a car at the moment. I ran out of storage space, so they're just sitting in a car that doesn't get used. And they're things that I wouldn't normally bother to collect. A couple of G5 iMacs, a G3 Snow iMac. What else? Just a few bits and pieces here and there. They're just not normally the sorts of Macs that I would collect. There's only one Mac in that lot that I actually did want, and that was a dual 450 megahertz G4. What is that? Is that the Sawtooth, I think? Because I did like those, especially the dual ones. Because I did quite a lot of 3D work many years ago. I still do a bit of 3D work, mainly now just building things to print out in my 3D printer. But at the time, what I used to do is I used to make products, sample products. So let's just say, for example, a company is they have a I don't know, some sort of product. Let's say it's a cleaning solution, some sort of spray cleaning solution, and they want to change their label. What would happen is the designer would design what the label is going to look like. I would then build the bottle of the product in 3D, and then we would wrap the new design around the bottle, and then we could create a 3D simulation of what it's going to look like, with a stack of them on a supermarket shelf. And so we would essentially just create these product samples in 3D. And so I used to do quite a bit of 3D work. And the dual processor computers worked. They made a big difference to 3D work. I mean, you would really be able to utilize dual processors when you're doing 3D, because you would just send part of it to that one and part of it to that one, and you quite literally on a dual processor computer would get twice the speed, twice the computing power for doing 3D stuff. And I remember back in those days where you really wouldn't have got that much of an advantage from a dual processor Mac at all, depending on what you were doing, but especially under like OS 9. But when I was using the 3D software, it was like having two computers in one. So, yeah. I need to actually go back and have a look in that in the car at what else I've got in there, because I know there's more than just what I mentioned. There's some other Macs in there. Can't remember what they are though. I don't do any of that work anymore, I should mention. So all I do now in 3D is build things that I want to print out on my 3D printer. This trace is in really bad condition. I will probably need to run some wire for that. See how it's corroded out it is? Look at that. That's short. That's short. So this is actually one of those really good moments, I guess you could say, when you find something that you know is going to stop making this computer work, or perhaps not work properly. So, you know, when you see something like that and you think, oh, good, well, that is a good repair. That's a repair. We're good. Why don't I cut this stupid cap off? Right, what is this one? This one, oh, there's gunk on it. 470.25, and this is also 470.25. Cut this one off as well. There you go, to one side. So, let's get some gunk on here. Need some solder. Get some solder on the tip here, and then I'm just going to do a bit of this. Get all that copper coated. And then we shall have to run a wire across there. It's going to be interesting. I need a decent sized wire because, as you can see, it's a pretty thick trace. Yeah. So my general feeling is that what I will do is I will put the component down on here, then I'll run the wire and attach it onto that side. I think that'll be the quickest and easiest way to do it. Hybrid thing could be a real pain in the ass. Well, I am really hoping that this particular hybrid thing is all hunky-dory perfect, nothing needs to be done to it, everything is fine and dandy. That is the kind of delusion I'm living with. This is the hybrid thing here, if you have a look. For anyone who is not aware, U1M hybrid. That's this little board tacked on here. And as I say, this board's not on the backlit version. They refined the design of this board for the backlit version. Mucho improved. Alright, time for some new flux. This tube has reached the end. Oh, what's that? What's that? Super chat. SysW01. For anyone in the chat, who would you recommend to repair a basket case Mac Portable backlit? It may need some of the custom ICs replaced. That I am not particularly. I can't really answer that, but I would definitely open that up to the chat to see if there's anyone there that might know. You sure that there are? Are you sure that there is component damage? I mean, it's more common on these to end up with trace damage. Is there something that might have happened that makes you think that the components are damaged? There is that guy, he's on 68K MLA, what's his name, I'm not sure. But he seems like a real grumpy guy, and he's pretty much said, I don't want to do it. But he does a very good job with the portables. I can't remember his name, someone else might remember his name. I can see some ugly looking traces under these. These pads are in a really bad state. I think I might need to get some scrapey going. Send it to Bruce even if he says no. Because I think we've already established that I am not the best person for doing repairs on portables because I don't even have one. You know, I could be in a situation where I test it and I hear it go chime and I go, hey, there we go, it's chime, it's fixed. And then when you switch it on, you get like black lines all over the screen. I don't have a screen, so I can't test it. I'm sure you can see the problem here. Jay and Dana, did you watch that movie I recommended? Oh, okay. There we go with some of these. Yeah, look, I mean, try what's his name, Thomas from Rochester, Amiga of Rochester. What's his name, Thomas Andrews, I think is his name. By all means, give him a whirl. I mean, yeah, I can't really. So, has he ever done a portable? I'm not sure, but you know, check with him. He might be happy to take it on. Oh, look at that. Look at that. More repairies. That's completely gone. The one thing with these that always worries me, when you have one like this where you have such clear and obvious damage, what about the stuff that's not clear? What about the stuff that's not obvious? Anyone who watched my recent live stream working on LC 475, no, LC2, sorry, that was making a horrible noise when it chimed. I replaced the sound chip. It's still making a horrible noise. I'm suspecting it's probably a ROM issue, so I'm probably going to have to take the ROMs off, which is not something I'm looking forward to doing. But I just thought I'd keep people up to date if they watch that one. I can get the computer to work, but the sound is just shot. Actually, you know what? I haven't even checked to see if it's other sound or whether it's just the chime. I really should check that, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Yes. That would probably tell me whether it's a ROM issue or not. Okay, we've got some trace repair here, so anyone who came here for trace repair, it's your lucky day. This one's not coming out like the other one used to. Why did I get a defective one last time? Yeah, I mean, it is one of the big problems. I mean, you know, some of them are just a straight recap and away you go. Other times you recap it and something else. Here's the thing with that LC2. It's doing exactly what it was doing before it was recapped. And that was making a horrendous sound on startup. And this is the thing that I always have to warn people of. And I know Steve is also been trying very hard to try and get this message through to people as much as possible. We know that these things have bad caps. We know that they need to be recapped. But it's not always the problem with them. The caps aren't a guarantee that that's what the problem is. There can be other problems with them. In particular, some of these old computers, for all we know, they could have had these problems for the last 20 years. You know, they might have actually been retired because they had this problem. And then, of course, there's also the issue that when you have failed caps can end up damaging components. So the recapping could be fixing the cause, but not the symptoms. Anyhow, okay, so this is looking a little bit tidier now, but now it is also really highlighting where the problems are. So I just need to think about this, about the way I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to repair these traces first. Then I'll probably do this one. I'm not pointing very well, am I? This is my new pointing tool, the toothbrush. So I'm going to probably repair this little guy first, the little one. Then I'll probably repair this one here. Then I'm going to coat it with UV mask to protect it. Then I'm going to put the components down, and then I'm going to repair this one, because I'm going to repair this one after the component's in place. I hope that all meets everyone's satisfaction, that my plan of attack sounds good. If anyone has what they think is a better way of doing it, please feel free to put it in the chat. I can't guarantee I'll read it, but I will be interested. Blue Scuzzy arrived and is working great. That is what I like to hear. Yeah, so just a reminder, anyone who's not aware, I am the one of the official resellers of the Blue Scuzzy here in Australia. My recapmac.com.au website has a little store, and if you go to that store, you can see that Blue Scuzzy is there available to buy. It comes in either kit or assembled form, and it comes with a mounting bracket and screws for the mounting bracket, and a little set of instructions and stuff like that. So if you are in Australia and you are wanting to get a Blue Scuzzy, sure, you can make them yourself. If you're not wanting to go down the path of ordering all the parts, getting the PCB made, that sort of stuff, please consider jumping onto my website and buying it. The advantage of buying one pre-assembled is it will be tested. The advantage of buying one as a kit is it's a little bit cheaper. So it really depends on, what your soldering skills are like. If you do want to solder it, it's all through hole. There's no surface mount work on it at all. It's a lot of through hole, I should mention. But, so, if you think, yep, I'm up to the challenge, by all means, grab the kit. I also sell the Scuzzy 2SD. I still like them both. I'm not sort of in a situation where it's like, oh, Blue Scuzzy has come along, that's the end of Scuzzy 2SD for me, or anything like that. I still sell Scuzzy 2SDs. I still, and people do still buy them. And there are a number of reasons why people would buy a Scuzzy 2SD over a Blue Scuzzy, but okay, let's get this soldered on. Got a little piece of wire here. Just need to get a little bit tacked on there like that. And that then makes life a little bit easier for doing the rest. Okay, I'm going to put this all the way up to the end here, up to this corner. I'm melting off the coating on this wire. It is enameled wire that you would use on a transformer or an electromagnet. This is not the cleanest I have ever done. Okay. Right, let's snip this away. Snippity snip. And come on. Snip. There we go. So we've got our repaired trace there. And there's got to add for Swanmorton. Oh dear, what was the crisis? Come on, Steve, tell. TV crisis. What's a TV crisis? Yeah, Stuart McKnight, yes, I am planning to replace it with tantalums. These ones here I have quite small caps for, so they'll go they'll go in quite nicely. These ones here, they're going lengthways, so I should be fine with those. I haven't cleaned these up. I haven't. I better do that. How about it? Should I do this trace repair first? Should I? Let's get a big wire. I've got this enamelled wire, and what I'm actually doing right at the moment, you can't see it, it's off microscope. I am just getting some of the enamel off this just to make it a little bit easier, because it doesn't burn off quite as easily on these big thick wires. I'm using a thick wire for a thick trace. There we go. Let's put a little bit of Fluxaroonie here, and then we'll get a little bit of solder on the end of the iron, and we'll plonk this here. Geez, I didn't really get much off, did I? There we go. Bit better. That's stuck down. I'll just use a bit of, get my tweezers here. Down. Sucking up a lot of solder here. And I dropped my tweezers. Got another pair here. Okay. And we'll just get a little bit of the excess up here. Looking good. Oh God, you didn't get to see any of that. I'm getting really bad at this. Does that join that? Must do. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Got a nice big fat join there. Isn't that nice? Already. Okay, where are we? C14 and C14, C16. Yeah, they're all right. So they are 10 microfarad, 16 volt. Now I have very small 10 microfarad, 16 volt tantalums, which should go in that spot quite well. So I'm feeling good about it. Okay, right. Well, I've done the trace repairs I want to do before putting the components down. So I'll just clean some of that gunk off. Get myself a tissue. Steve, are you streaming tonight? Mention. Oh, I think yeah. So I know of the backlit board trick to spot bad vias. Yeah, you basically shine an extremely bright torch on the other side of the board, or flashlight, and you shine up underneath around the vias, and you can see where they're broken. I haven't had a lot of success with that method, but I do know that that's one of the tricks that gets used. You just shine a real, get it with the microscope. I don't have an extremely bright one, but let's just say, for argument's sake, I was just get my little. Oops, here's my torch. Right, put that there. So let's just say we were looking at. Turn this light off. and get like this. And this is not a particularly good example of it, but you can sometimes see when the trace on the other side is meant to be going somewhere and you can't see it. So that's the trick, as I understand it. Let's turn the light back on. Okay. Yes, just mentioning, of course, that Steve is heading over to catch up with Mike from Mike's Mac Shack tomorrow. Can you tell us, Steve, is that something that you are likely to live stream, or are you going to pre-record stuff and make a video afterwards? Because I tell you what, we do like to watch videos of when you catch up with Mike. I almost feel compelled to remove these startup switches while I'm doing this. Probably pre-record stuff as we'll have our hands full and I don't own a GoPro. And then there is also the issue with the fact that Mike has a tendency to just swear all the time. Need to be able to edit that out. This sucks. I'm not happy. Ow, ow. I just burned myself. You know, not to do... It's really a good idea to not, you know, kind of do things, move things around, stuff like that, with the soldering iron in your hand. That's my tip for today. It's best to put the soldering iron down and then do the things. Doing my best to clean these up without melting these startup switches. I am accepting a certain amount of meltage that I will consider to be, let's say, acceptable. Hot, hot, hot. Okay. All right. The person I'm doing this for is a regular customer, sends me quite a lot of work. And he is just the nicest guy. I have to be very careful not to say how much I'm disliking this, because he'll send me a message later on after watching this and he'll apologise to me. I'm so sorry, the Mac Portable gave you so much trouble. So I'm just... this is a nightmare to recap, I will say that. But it's part of the job, okay? I'm fine with it. It's part of the job. Right. It's time to put these caps down. These are the ones in the worst position, so I think I might do these first. Oops. Oh, jeez, old man noises. Does my iron have a turbo button? No, it doesn't. Not like Steve's. Steve's has the random turbo. Okay, 1 microfarad 50 volts. 2 of those. Let's put these in here. These are very, very tight. Pretty tight. Yikes. Where's the positive on this one? I've scraped it off. It's that way. Crikey. Crikey. Righty. So, right. Okay. All right. Crikey. Far out. Shivers. Changing tips. Going to try and go with one that might give me a better chance of getting into this little nook. This alcove. Waiting for it to heat up. Doesn't take long. With this fancy soldering iron. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Okay, he's on. He's on one side anyway. Let's try this one. So I'm using a conical tip here. All we have to do is ask Jay from House of Moth how much he likes conical tips. And then I've got to try and squeeze this in here. We're on, yay! Woohoo, wee-hoo, yay! Okay. Oh, that's not on. It's not on if it's not on. Yeah, that's on now. Okay. Okay. Right, that was not fun. I just want to say it straight off the bat there. That was not fun. Now we're going to put these 47 microfarad 16s down. I better put some UV solder mask on here first. And I can use the laser beam. Let's not fry it with 12 volts. And where's my laser? So this is a UV laser, which I have purchased on eBay, and I believe there are links to it in the description. And I have rigged it up so that it doesn't need batteries. I just plug it into my power supply, so I don't have to keep changing batteries in the thing. And it is very good at putting a very focused point of UV light where I want it, which helps cure this UV mask. Okay, get a little paintbrush. This is a size 000 paintbrush. I bought from like an art supplies store. Yeah, I didn't. This one I bought just on eBay. Right. This one doesn't matter too much. I can probably just mask that afterwards. It needs to be masked, but it doesn't need to necessarily be masked before the component goes down. This, on the other hand, this needs to be masked here, I think. Just not a bad idea to do that around here, so I don't accidentally create a short or a long. No, I'm not a very good painter. That is meant to join there, isn't it? And it has to, of course, otherwise why would it go there? Yep, all good. Right, so I've got some blurry UV mask there. There we go, it's a little bit better. And I am now going to get some of the excess off. I think I'm making it worse. Stuff it. Stuff it. Okay, hitting it with a little UV light now. You see it's all kind of glossy at the moment. It sort of goes matte as it starts to dry. Who's matte? This cap's never going to go on as neatly as the others. Unavoidable. I see lots of chatter on the people on the chat there talking about different things. I am just letting that basically go at the moment because I don't think it's actually chatter directed at me. If someone does have a question directly for me, please feel free to put the @Brankus Creations in front of it. That's all right. Just checking. Just checking. This is probably not too crash hot for the eyes. Don't worry about your eyes. You're seeing it through a camera that is only able to capture visible light. So what you're watching is not actually UV. But what I'm looking at, if I look at it through the microscope, or if I look at it like this, I am actually seeing the UV there. It's probably not very good for me, I don't know. Should get some UV. There might be UV protection on these glasses, I don't know. Isn't looking, let's talk about all the nasty stuff. It may not seem it, but we are actually getting closer to completion on this one. This is the biggest cluster of capacitors on here, and the other ones, they're all, there's a few here to go, but they're just surface mount. Unless I have this sort of damage on those as well, which I don't know. It doesn't look too bad from here. I think we might actually be starting to get done. Does anyone remember what the voltage is on the batteries in these? I can't remember. I might have to watch my video. Have you used sticky foil as a trace repair? No, I haven't. I've seen other people do it. I go with my little wires. I just like doing it that way. You have a recap guide for a Power Macintosh 7200 120. Oh, no. Isn't the 7200's got caps on both sides, doesn't it? I think I could be wrong, but no, sorry, I don't. People generally haven't been calling for those because, well, you know, the hope is that they don't need recapping yet. But I think that's probably more of a hope than it is a fact. If I remember rightly, most of the caps on the 7200, I don't have a 7200, but I know they're very similar to things like the 73 and the 7500. If I remember rightly, they they have mainly all the same caps as all these other boards, but with one or two extras that aren't on them. Right. Okay, we've got some UV masks there, all dried up. Now I've basically, so the lawnmower is finished over there, but now this neighbour over on the other side, he's playing around with his car, and it's awful. And he revs the bejesus out of it when he's about to go somewhere. And he will go somewhere, so it's not going to be that noise forever. But I don't mind engine noise, I just mind it when they're really crappy engines. And he has to go through this every time he wants to go somewhere in that car. Something tells me the car's not in very good condition. Royale with cheese. Okay, what was this about Whoppers? Oh, okay, Bruce, what do they call the Whopper at Hungry Jack's? They call it the Whopper. So there's a very interesting story. You probably find it on, what do you call it, on Wikipedia about Hungry Jack's in Australia. So it was by a guy called Jack someone or other, I can't remember his surname, but he basically set up the hamburger chain, and he essentially bought the kind of rights to use the Hungry Jack, sorry, the, what do you guys call it, the, what do you guys call it, what's it called, Burger King, sorry, yeah, he bought sort of the rights to use all the Burger King, sort of IP, intellectual property, and eventually Burger King actually tried to come out here, and he took them to court, and he won. That's not right. And so, yeah, we only have Hungry Jack's here. We don't have Burger King, but pretty much everything that you would find at Burger King, you will find at Hungry Jack's here. So we have the Whopper and all that. I like them too, by the way. They're very bad for you, but I love the taste of those Whoppers. I can barely hear the car noise. That's probably because it's such a lousy engine. Yeah. I don't know what the missing capacitor is, so I rescued one. What did you rescue? Now I've got to be very careful with putting this cap on because of all of the exposed traces behind it. So we're fairly good here. I just need to make sure that this pin here on this side doesn't make contact with that little trace repair that I got there. So I'm going to probably sit him a little bit further up than I would normally. So just put him there. He's not going to be able to sit flush on the board. Unavoidable. Because we've got that big fat wire. And then let's do this one. Let's have a look at what are the danger points on this one. Once again, I need to make sure that pin doesn't overlap down on this trace here. So I'll sit him a little bit further up as well, in line with that one. Nice. Oh, okay. Okay, 7200. Yes, no, sorry, I don't have... I don't think I even have photos of a 7200. I don't think anyone's ever sent one to me, so I'm not going to be a good resource for getting you the measurement of that component, I'm sorry to say. I've seen some photos of a 7200. Did you say... Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd be interested to know. I would like to see a photo of it. I would. So I need to do a repair on this one. Go from there to there. The guy who sent me this did warn me that this one was going to be a challenge. So I can't be upset. But, you know, it's worth it. It is worth the trouble for a Macintosh Portable. You know, we criticise them all the time, but I still believe they're very collectible. Someone put a little post on Facebook the other day talking about what's the most collectible Mac. I don't know if anyone else saw that. Which is you kind of need to define the parameters in order to ask her a question like that, because what says something is collectible? Is it collectible because it is valuable, or is it collectible because it is readily available? Is it collectible because it's rare? You know, I mean, I can give you an example of, say, for example, the Macintosh 2VI. Now, that was only sold in a few countries, so one could say that and it was only sold for a very short period of time, so one could say that that's a little bit rare. But is it collectible? Well, no one particularly wants one, so I don't know that it is collectible. So it fulfills the requirement of being rare, but no one really wants it. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. Okay, no worries. Hit me up on Discord. Cool. Mr. Macintosh, hello. So 6-volt lead battery. Okay, 6-volt is it? All right. So because that's what I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it 6-volt. Okay, he wanted too much for the name, and Burger King said we aren't going to be extorted and call it Hungry Jack, using the guy's name to piss him off. There are quite a few chains that we don't have out here that I hear a lot of Americans discuss. For example, we don't have Wendy's here. We did have Wendy's, a place called Wendy's. It's not anymore, but we did once upon a time. But all they sold was ice creams, and I think they did some hot dogs as well. But they were just an ice cream joint. They weren't fast food. We do, of course, have McDonald's. We do, of course, have Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then, yeah, we have Hungry Jack's instead of Burger King. Right, let's do some of these little trace repairs that I saved until afterwards. We're going to have one going from... Oh, crap, it was that one, wasn't it? This one, this one, this one. So let's get some wire. It's not wire, that's solder. There to there. Should I use a thicker wire? Probably should. Let's use a thicker wire. I'm going to just scrape some of the enamel off. Oh yes, we have Subway. Yep. I'm just removing some of the enamel from this wire, that's why I've just gone all quiet. Just doing it by scraping my soldering iron across it, using the heat and the scraping. What do you do about cleaning the flux off at the very end if you don't have an ultrasonic cleaner? Well, let's open this can of worms. What do people think about putting things in a dishwasher? Keeping in mind, of course, that you don't use detergent. You just use the hot water and you dry it thoroughly afterwards. What are people's thoughts on that? Some people swear by it. I've never done it. I've never needed to do it. A little bit out of focus there. You can use, there are a number of sort of cleaning solutions around. There are things like just need to make sure I'm not touching that trace there. I don't think I am. No, I'm not. Okay, so that's one trace repair there. You can use products like, where the fridge magnet is it? I have some. There's, oh, here we are. It's fallen down the back there. There are products like this. Flux remover. This is made by MG Chemicals. This sort of stuff can help you with that, with a bit of toothbrush. That's quite good at getting flux off. So I'd recommend something along those lines. There is no substitute really for an ultrasonic cleaner. I mean, you will be able to get it clean. I think you will be able to do a good job at it, don't get me wrong. But there are times when only an ultrasonic will do because of the way that it cleans in such tight areas. Because it's actually using those little explosions, the tiny weeny little explosions in the water. Ultrasonic cavitations is what they call them. Need more solder. Need some tweezers. Need to be doing this differently. Oh, fuck. How many pairs of tweezers have to end up on the floor today, huh? I can see questions coming up about ultrasonic cleaners. I better get my ultrasonic hat on. Toothbrush, tweezers, old man noises. Okay. Doesn't have a soft water softener or a hard calcium in your water. They get abrasive and are a no-no. Otherwise, if you have good quality water, use the dishwasher. Make sure you don't use a heat cycle. Use your wife's toothbrush just to know what she asks later. Okay, powering the board from the Molex avoids needing to mess with 9-volt standby battery. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. 6.6 volt 2 amp limit on my bench PSU. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, big board, so you need a big bath. Yep, my wife's... okay. Does the ultrasonic cleaner support large boards like the 950? And that's, yeah, it depends on the size of the ultrasonic cleaner. How many litres is your ultrasonic cleaner? So I have 2 ultrasonic cleaners. You can see one of them here. This is the big one, and then I've got the little one over here which you can't see. The one over here is a 10 litre. Now that's 10 litre if you're filling it literally to the point that it's overflowing. In actual fact, if you're putting a practical amount of water in there, it holds about 8 litres. Now that works really well for Classic 2, Colour Classic, you know, LC520, LC550, LC475, LC123, SC, SC30 plus, you know, all of those smaller boards. Once we start getting into bigger boards like the Mac 2 boards, 2X, 2CI, 2CX, you know, 2VX, VI, they're going to need this bigger board. This will fit almost a 950 board. What I have here oh, excuse me, pardon my bellicosity. Okay, now, this is a Quadra 950 board. Now, as you can see, this is a big board. It's a monster of a thing. Now, when I put this in the ultrasonic cleaner, this one here, it will go in at sort of at an angle like that. If this bath was maybe 1 or 2 centimetres bigger that way, I would probably be able to just get the whole thing in flat. But I can get this whole board submerged. That's the important thing inside that. And this one is, I think, about 30 litres, 20 to 30 litres, something like that. So it's not actually that much more liquid than this one. The difference is that this one is narrow. It's only about that deep. But it's, you know, so it's, yeah, it's better suited to these sorts of boards. Just put that down there. It's had so much trouble getting it out. Alright, so we've done the trace repairs now. So we've got a trace repair there, and a microscope. We've got a trace repair there, we've got a trace repair there, and then of course we've got a little trace repair down here as well. People with games, stories to tell. Yeah, okay, so... So having this big ultrasonic cleaner has just been so. I will clean this board in it, this Mac Portable board. I could do this in 2 halves in the smaller one, but this one I can just drop the whole thing, just submerge the whole thing in that. So, right. Oh, there's another little 47016 over here. Let's get rid of that one. Get rid of that. Okay, so what are we doing here? That's there. Let's put these through-hole caps in. So we need a couple of these little, what were they? 100 microfarad 25s. Hang on. I sure hope that's what they were, because that's what I'm about to put in. Let's do the normal thing where I change over onto the top view for this bit. It's the positive, and that's the negative, and it's the positive, that's the negative. I'm going to accentuate the positive, but not completely eliminate the negative, because we still need it. Thank you very much, Shady Robot. Goodness me, how rude is that? Rude am I? Here's this super chat sitting there, and I didn't acknowledge it. That's just downright rude. Sorry about that. Consider me rude. I am planning a video, well, I have started a video, I should say, on the making of this ultrasonic cleaner. It's been working reliably now for quite a while, but it did not work reliably to start off with. I was having nothing but problems with it. So I learned a lot about building it, some things I did wrong in the first place, so but it's all good now. But it has been working very, very well for a while now. I have to replace a power supply in it. Hopefully I won't have to again. So they're in. Let's get rid of this little guy. This should hopefully just be old cap off, new cap on. Wax off, wax on. Off. Oh great, I removed the component I don't need to remove, and the cap's still on there. What the... What is going on here? Ridiculous. Let's put this little guy back on. Does anyone know what this is? Can't see it very well, can you? So if we get under the microscope, we'll open it up. Open it up to the floor. It is labelled on the board with an L. Should clean up these pads first, shouldn't I? I'll clean them all up. Coil, that is correct. It is a coil, or an inductor. So the correct answer to this one is that it is a coil or an inductor, which are typically labelled with an L on these Mac boards. In terms of a crystal or an oscillator, I will point one of those out in a moment. They have crystal, oscillators have changed over time, so they don't all look the same. What am I looking for? I'm looking for, what do you call that thing? Solder wick. Here it is. Will it work without a coil? Probably. What temp do you run your soldering gun at? The hot air station? I work in Celsius, I'm afraid, because I am in one of the countries that has metricated. And I run it, I think it's 430 degrees C. And I run it at its highest blowing power. Alright, let's get this coil back on, shall we? Poor little thing vanished from the board for no apparent reason. It's very upset. I'm going to need my stupid conical tip again, aren't I? Oh, bloody hell. It's because the board's so big, that's why I keep dropping the tweezers. I'm having to work on the edge here. Living on the edge. Hey, get straight. Oh, damn, I asked a question earlier, and I know there was an answer there, but I missed it. Piffle. I'll have to go back all the way back. 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 Darn it. I don't want to have to answer the question again, because that just makes me look like, asking the question again, it makes me look like an idiot. More of an idiot. Oh well. I find with the hot air in particular, you want to just try and have it really hot and get in and out as quick as possible. When I'm working with really small surface mount components, I don't necessarily, I actually run it with the air not blowing quite as hard. Okay, got to swap over to my little conical tip again, because I need to get into a tight space. As the guys see, I can get in like that. No damage to the plastic. It's like a little ninja. It's a ninja tip. And we're on. Okay, 47 microfarad 16 volt going to go there. Let's grab one of those. It's the most common size you'll find when you're recapping Mac. That's the one I keep the largest supply of for obvious reasons. Unless, of course, you're going to be doing nothing but LC2s. And I think LC1s. Lots and lots of 10 microfarad 16 volts on those. This has taken me a lot longer than I thought it would. I don't know why, because I knew there was going to be lots of repair. So I don't really know why I thought it would be quicker. But anyhow. Right, so that's the 47 microfarad 16. So we've got... Oh, okay, hang on. I better do these. I better get these holes for the radials as well. Just going to do these. So we've got 3 470 microfarad 25 volt radial caps. Now once again, these radial caps generally don't have the same problems as, not radial, axial. They're the ones where the pins come out both sides. They generally don't have the same sorts of problems that you get from the surface mount, but nonetheless I am going to replace them because they are electrolytic. Electrolytic do have liquid in them. They do have seals that can fail. And so, you know, it really is a good idea to replace them anyway, unless you're lazy. Probably because you're keeping me entertained. Yes, yes. Reading the chat definitely does slow me down, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy having the company while I'm working on these things. Okay, this pin's ready to come out. Out you come, Mr. Pin. Oh, don't make a liar out of me. Hey, it had a bent end. That's why it was so hard to get out. He's coming. He's coming. These precision tweezers are really good for, you know, holding components on when you're soldering, because they've got such fine pins, fine points on the end. But they're terrible for actually trying to grip something and pull it, because there's just no surface area on the thing. Okay, that's those holes cleared. I love it when the solder comes out from those holes really, really easily. And then I keep getting questions then from people in the chat going, how do you get the solder out so easily? And I go, luck. That one was nice and easy. I want solder to wrap around this pin. Work better. This one is on a ground. It's on a ground plane, because I can just feel all the heat being sucked out of it. All the heat's dissipating on the copper attached to this via. It's making this pin really hard to get up. I'm using pliers. Stuff it. Now, of course, I'm losing heat on the pliers as well. Got it. Picture of Sony 200 board damage. It's through Facebook Messenger. Thank you very much. I will be checking that out. Right, let's see if we can get this solder out. Now, this is the one where it's going to be a nightmare to come out. You watch. Oh, we're close. Hey, I got it. That's my happy noise. God, how much solder's in this thing? That was insane. I'll tell you how much. A lot. It's, you know, solder wick is one of these things where you just kind of think, oh, what's the difference going to be? I've only ever used one brand of solder wick. Having said that, I have used two different sizes from that same brand, and I found that the 2mm version of the good wick works better than the bigger one. I don't know why, but I just feel that way. But yeah, good wick is the only one I've ever used, and that's because it's the wick that they sell at my local electronics retailer up the road. But I have seen people soldering with other brands of wick, and it looks to me like they're having a lot more trouble with it. Ooh, I can smell fishy there. Come out. Today is my lucky day for getting solder out of these holes. I consider myself extremely lucky that I haven't had much trouble with those. Oh, how's everyone going? I mean, is everyone still hanging on? I mean, my goodness. Oh, viewer count down to 35. Yep. That's it. It's all downhill from here. The irony is we're very close to the end. But I do know that it's getting a little bit late, particularly on the east coast. So I quite understand if there are folks like, oh man, I've got to get to bed, even though it's Friday night. Oh wow, what a mess, look at that. It's a little bit chilly here, so I'm just warming myself up with a hot air station. Right, so we're going to need to do a little bit of scrapey here, because I see a lot of stuff that could easily be damaged traces. Just based on what I've been seeing on this here, I think I have to try and set everyone's expectations that when I get this recapped and finished, I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I know that's a terrible thing to be saying to people after all this time, but to see so many kind of bad traces around these areas that I've been looking, there's just always that feeling of, oh, what about all the ones I don't see? I've just changed scalpel blades here. Look at that, busted trace. Okay, let's clean it up. Yes. Yeah, that's the nighttime person speaking to the morning person. This is the thing. It's like, I'm just going to stay up. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. And then you wake up the next morning and your morning person is sort of like, oh man, why didn't I go to bed earlier? Why did I open that last bottle? Alright, let's get the wick. Let's clean things up some. Oops. Once we've got all this solder away with the wick, we will then get a pretty clear idea of what's going on with these traces. Excuse me. What did I drop that time? Alright, let's get the old toothbrush out and give this a bit of a clean. Get a better idea of what's going on here. And we've definitely got one trace that needs to be repaired. I think it's only one, but we'll just see. So this one here, definitely broken. This one here is thinned a little, but not broken. I probably should just put a little bit of extra on that. Yeah, so let's have it at it. What size wire should I use for this one? Probably this size. Try and focus that a bit better. So let's do this one first. As I say, just shoring this one up. I don't actually think it's broken, but I would just feel a little bit better if it had a little bit of reinforcement. Now obviously the main challenge I have with these here is that I'm right in the middle of a whole bunch of traces. So the work I do on this, I have to make sure that I am not going to create any shorts between these traces. One thing that I really need here, and that is more flux. Okay, let's try that again. These tweezers suck. A little bit of concentration going on here. This is why I've just gone silent all of a sudden. Ah, you flamin' mongrel. Alright, that'll do. That'll do, that'll do, that'll do. What's going on here? What's going on? What's all this chit chat going on? There's chit chat going on with my Mac-Yak peoples. Cool. Right, okay. Alright, okay, I'm good. Everything's fine. Right, so I think we're okay with that one. Doesn't look too nice, but I think we're good to go. So now we've got to do the one that definitely is broken. This one's got it's only close on one side, so that's going to be a little bit easier than that first one. Still going to suck. Right, so let's plonk him down there. Now that last pair of tweezers I was using was good. I'm going to use those. I'm moving the other one. Pooh. There we go. I'm creating all sorts of bridges across here, which I will resolve, but I just want to get this in place first. No. No. Oh, my chickens are still in their cage, in their coop. I haven't let them out. Terrible parent. Okay. Now, I'm going to douse this in flux. Dousey douse. And I'm just going to very gently try and tidy up this soldering a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. It's perhaps not the tidiest trace repair I've ever done, but there are definitely some challenges there with that. Have a look at the first trace by the third pin. First trace, third pin of what? Excuse me 1 minute. Sorry, just bird control. Okay. Oh, what did I just step on? Okay. So, CTR, hello. Bit late tonight doing some PowerBook hinge repair. Yay! So, yeah, first trace right by the third pin. First trace right by, are you talking about first trace right by the third pin? I'm not sure which pin you're referring to. Oh, are you talking about up here? Because by gum, there's some crud up here as well. thankfully no actual breaks here. Or is that? Yeah, that's going to definitely need to do something there. This I can probably just shore up with a bit of solder on the top. The IC, third pin on the right. So this IC, because we've got one here and we've got one here. So you're talking about this IC here on the right? And third pin, I see that as the third pin. Is that what you're referring to? Or are you talking about that as the third pin? Well, there's no trace coming from that, so that can't be it. There's it. Crazy out tech reviews. Crazy. I'm crazy. I'll be happy when this thing's finished. I imagine you guys will be ecstatic. The left IC. Okay, so the left IC. Third pin. So this guy here. Third pin 1, 2, 3. Third pin 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is pin 1 here on the left hand side. That's pin 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, pin 15. Pin 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, pin 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, pin 45. 46, 47, 48, 49, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Which pin? Excuse me, bird control again. Have these guys managed to actually lift the lid off this thing? No, they haven't. Interesting. Sorry, pigeons outside trying to eat chicken food. 43. This one here? I'm going to zoom in. And this one's not actually going anywhere. That one there. Everything looks okay around that area, so I'm feeling fairly confident with that one. I am going to do something about this though, I think. How's that look? Let's just close up on that. Yeah, I think we could do a lot worse than put a little joint across there. Okay. Yes, the trace to the right of the pin, no it's not. I think it might just be, I think why it's looking that way is there's a little blob of solder on it which is creating a shadow on one side. But it's definitely not broken. Okay. I actually saw someone the other day using the wire from the what do you call this stuff? The wick. as their join. It's like, oh, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Clever clogs. Oh, you guys go away? I'm being very bothered by pigeons at the moment. It's going to be interesting when I actually come to fire this thing up, because there's a way you can short 2 pins in the I/O port to make it start up. I'll be buggered if I can remember what the 2 pins are. Oh wow, I just bent the trace. That ain't good. I guess it definitely tells us that it's broken though. I've got my crap tweezers again. How did that happen? There we go. It's joined. I don't want to mess with it anymore. There we go. Excuse me. Yep. I hate the look of these vias, but I think that's just a Mac Portable thing. Let's get the old blade again. Just have a look at this bit here. No, not broken. That's good. Okay. Just get solder onto these, and I think at this stage we can put some caps down. Whew. Well, we knew this was a bad section. Up here it doesn't look too bad, so I'm hoping these last 3 caps are just going to be off and on. Yay! 10 microfarad 16 volt. I'm going to need my little what do you call that thing? A little conical tip again. Right. Sorry, just catching up with some of the chat. Alright. So, here's a little cap. And here's a little cap. I want to put these down in a way so that I have enough room to get in behind them. right next to that I/O port without melting anything. Oh, that's a lot of solder. Okay, we're good. And switch over to the conical tip. What's the 7000 series that I've got? So I just see chat in there about the 7200. Is it the 7600 I have, I think? I've got a couple of them actually, both with G3 upgrade. G3 upgrade CPUs in them, but it's funny how you end up getting more than one of certain computers, and you see, how did that happen? I wasn't out to collect more of them. I wanted one. I got one easily. Got the second one, I think, chucked in with something else. Right, so there's the two caps on there. We've done that without melting any of the plastic here, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Got 1, 2, 3 trace repairs going on here, though this one is more of just shoring it up than actually repairing it. So that's all good. That'll all need to be UV solder masked when we've finished it. So we basically now have 3 caps remaining, just 3. And in theory, oh well, I've got to stick the axials in, but that's a nice easy job. In theory, these will hopefully just be off and on because they don't look as bad. I see a little bit of nastiness here, but we'll scrape that off. We'll see how it looks. Let's knock them off the board first so they can be on their merry way. Mystery Margot, hello. We're working on a Macintosh Portable here, which has taken me a ridiculous amount of time to get to where we are, but that is because it's in a bit of a bad state. The real fear I have with this one is that there is a lot more damage than the damage that I have found and fixed, and that it's not just going to be straightforward. That I will go to fire this up and it won't work. And then I'll scream and pull my hair out. Can't really pull my hair out, none left. Okay, so let's get all this cleaned up and we'll just see what it looks like underneath. I'll probably have to scrape a few of these traces off. Getting some new fresh solder on here with a little bit of... Oh, I got the wrong tip. I don't like this tip. Not for cleaning anyway. I want this tip for cleaning. I think my parents had a 7300. I think. I could be wrong. I had a 7500 at one stage. I gave that away. I can't remember where I got it from, but I remember having a 7500 here. Is there any sense to the numbers on the 7000 series? I just always feel like the numbers kind of mean nothing in terms of like 7200, 7300, 7500, 7600. It's not like the bigger the number the better, if I remember rightly. Maybe it is, but... Surely you're joking, Bruce. What am I joking about? What have I done? About the 7300 numbers? I've got no idea. One of the things that's, for me, is very important with... you're probably referring to something else, but what I will say about the 7000 series Macs is that I... I'm thinking differently. During that time, professionally speaking, because I've been obviously using Macs professionally for many years, and professionally speaking, where I was working, we were using clones. We weren't actually using genuine Apple computers, so that was a time when I was experiencing a lot of clone use, but not much in the way of what Apple was actually making. All of these ones that are blackened, I've got to be scraped off, see what they look like underneath. These are looking good. None of them appear to be eaten through, so that's nice. I like it. There was an order, then they messed it up. So in terms of the clones that I used predominantly power computing and UMacs, but I did have some other ones as well. Was it Motorola or I can't remember, but it was mainly power computing and UMacs. But I vaguely remember we had one other that was a different brand. And I got all of them. When the company upgraded, I got every single one of them. They're all gone now. You'll be pleased to hear that. I gave them away. So I'm an idiot. But my employer at the time, when they upgraded, he let me take every single one home. I set them up into a 3D render farm. Until I got my G5, and my G5 was fast enough to render things faster than the entire render farm. Motorola Star Max. Yes, I think I had a Motorola Star Max. Should have hung on to that one. I should have hung on to one of the power pieces. I should have held on to one of each. I should have just done that. That would have just been a sensible thing to do. But I remember looking at them and just sort of thinking, why keep these? They're clones. They're not even genuine Apple. What's the point in even hanging on to them? These are never going to be worth anything. I'm never going to have any interest in firing these things up again. Apple wrong. Let me get some mask onto this. What is that in there? When I very first started collecting Macs, and that kind of came through a Mac Plus. I don't know why, I just got this urge to buy a Mac Plus that was on eBay once, and that sort of reignited the urge. I was like, oh, I want a compact Mac, So I bought a Mac Plus many, many years ago, and that kind of reignited that urge for the vintage. And I remember one of the Macs that I really wanted to get, one of the ones that I wanted to have in my collection, was a 2CI, which I do have now, so I'm quite happy. I can stop looking. I have a 2CX as well. But for whatever reason, that was just always the one that I had these incredible memories of. The main ones I had memories of were probably the Mac Plus, the SE, and the Mac 2, and the 2CI and 2CX, and to some extent the SE30 as well, but not as much. I'll probably need to do a bit more in the UV mask department, but this is probably enough for me to at least just get these caps on and do some tidying up later on. This brush has got a wicked curve on it, doesn't it? Yep. Okay, that's probably enough for these caps to go on. So now we just laser beam it, pew. Can you play Farmville on the render farm? Just bought a PowerBook 540C. Wow, hope it works. Nick, I'm super envious. That was another one that I owned and gave away. I owned 3 of those bloody things. I bought them for next to nothing. I bought them for like, I don't know, $50 each, max, something like that. I can't even remember. I got 3 of them for just such a stupidly small amount of money because no one wanted them. I bought these 3 540Cs, and I had them for a while. One of them I actually ended up pulling apart and turning into a video photo frame, which of course, you know, digital photo frame, you wouldn't do that today with a 540C, goodness, but back then they were just worth nothing. And I was like, yeah, I'll turn this one into a digital photo frame, which I did. And then I had the other 2, and I don't know, they sat around for a while, sort of stopped using them, and then I eventually gave them away. They were just taking up space. It's like, I'm never going to use this again. What an idiot. Drake 9800, hello. Did you just smash that like button? Is it fixed yet? We're very, very close, Jay. Where have you been? You been off watching things, or fixing things, or cleaning things? We're about to put the last 3 caps on, and then we can test it out. If someone remembers which pins I have to short to make it start, I might have to watch my own YouTube video. I should take notes of these things, shouldn't I? I mean, I probably did take notes of them, but I don't have them here. In the garage, but the stream was on the phone. Fair enough. Jay does clean his office a lot, but he messes it a lot as well. I do see the photographic evidence. He says, "Yeah, look, I've cleaned it. And then, like, the next day, it's covered in stuff. My watch is telling me to stand again. My watch doesn't like it when I do live streams. I have an Apple Watch Series 3. And I have to say, I really like it. I resisted getting an Apple Watch for, well, for 3 series, didn't I? For series 1 and 2, and then I don't know, I got some money. I don't know, I did a really big job or something. I got a really big payout, and I thought, oh, I might get a watch. And I have to admit, I really like it. The best feature in it is the thing I love about the Apple Watch. For me, the main feature is silence. My phone never goes off anymore. I just get the little taptic thing on my wrist, and I love the silence. Love it. Been having fun with your blue SCSI? Yes, I have. I've actually only got one. I've been making them and selling them, but I decided that I was going to make one and keep it and call it my own and not actually list it as stock on my website. Yeah, and I do like the blue SCSI. There are still things that I would use a SCSI to SD for. First of all, obviously the external SCSI to SD version 5.5. It's the most used thing in my sort of computer arsenal. If you are going to be running on a faster computer like with SCSI 2, at this time, it might change in the future, but at this time, the SCSI to SD absolutely leaves the blue SCSI for dead in speed. But if we're talking about, your Mac Classic, your Classic 2, your LC, LC2, LC3, LC475, if you're talking about 68K Max, blue SCSI is great. And I love how easy it is to configure. Just love it. Trying to inflate tractor tires with a bicycle pump. Yeah, no. As we say here in Australia, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Get off the iron. Thank you. Okay, there's 147. Here's the second one. I really should come this at a different angle. Aye. Stop it. Alright, what are we looking at here? Won't boot a non-68K Mac and compare. Well, it actually will. So I hate to correct you there, but the blue SCSI will absolutely boot a non-68K Mac. You might be using a very old version of one, but certainly the one that is available now is the 1.0C board with the latest firmware. I have had it quite happily booting a 6100. So it's the only non-68K that I've tried it on. I do intend trying it on more, but it absolutely 100% booted straight up with a 6100, which is of course a PowerPC 601, not a 68K. So axials. There we are. I really need a shelf here, you know that? Alright. Right. 470. I did say those were the last two, but I forgot about these axial caps. So 470. 470, 20. Uh-oh. 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 I've only got two left. We're going to have to bodge something just to get this rolling. Sorry about that, folks. Dag nabbit. What about that? Who would have thunk it that I would end up with having only two left when I needed three? I'm cross now. Glad you mentioned that before I finished my review. Yes. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I guess the important thing is, you know, sort of with this, it's still early days. Now the next thing I'm going to test it out on is my 7600 that has been upgraded to a sorry, just got sidetracked back a minute. It has been upgraded to a G3. It'll be interesting to see whether it boots to that. I mean, no, it's not going to run at the same speed, but I'm really annoyed that I've only got two of these caps. And I'm really annoyed that I'm going to have to do some sort of crappy work just to get it tested. And then, of course, I'll have to order some more of these caps. Drat and blast. That's all I can say. Right, let's see how that goes. Pop these caps in. There's minus and a plus. Pop that in there. This is going to look so bad. Right, so let's get the good ones on first, and then I'll do some sort of jiggery pokery to get the other one on. I'll reuse one of the old ones. Let's go to the top view, shall we? So annoyed. Ba-ba-ba. Yeah, I mean the guys at Blue Scuzzy are still not saying that Blue Scuzzy works with a Power PC. They're not saying that. They're not putting that in their documentation. It's just purely been from my own testing that I found that it works. So, yeah. Right, so here's where I'm going to get creative. It's going to look terrible. But we don't mind, do we? No. No. I'm going to just drop these little offcuts down this hole, which you can't see because it's off camera. Let me move the camera out of this microscope out of the way, and then I can maybe get this into camera. Where'd it go? There we go. So I've got these little offcuts here from capacitors. I'll pop them through here like that. And then I'm going to solder them in position. Because I cut the pins of the other one, so I can't just plug them on. There we go. Two little pins just sticking out in the air. Like that. And then let's get one of the old caps, which is probably still fine. And we'll just, not that one, so I cut that one right to the edge. This one's better. What about this one? This one's, I think this one's the best one. Fixing a stuff up. Well, it's not really a stuff up, it's just not having the caps. I just should have checked that I had the caps before I trimmed them off. Okay, there we go. It ain't pretty, but it'll work. Let's just have a look at this in the microscope. Yep, that's not the microscope. There we go. Soldered there, soldered there. Just get a little bit of this excess off. Alright, so this is the, you know, let's say 1 in 5 chance, I reckon, that this will start. I'd say. That's about where I am at the moment with this. So I've got to power this up, and then I've got to get started, and then I've got to connect the speaker to it. That works. I was using one just the other day. Can't be too far away. Not that one. How about this one? I think this speaker works. I'm going to test it using my multimeter. Let me get my multimeter, and I'm going to put it on ohms, and I am going to put it across the 2 pins on the speaker. Go there to there, and I am reading 16 ohms. And this is a 16 ohm speaker. There we go. I think this is probably meant to have that stupid ohm speaker on there, but this should still give me some noise. Give me some noise. Okay, there's a speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. Never mind. No, we won't worry about that. So I'm going to put this on, what, 6.5 volts, let's say? Oh, geez, not with the laser beam. I'll kill my laser beam. Don't want to kill my laser beam. High hopes, low expectations. I can't ask for any more than that. Right. Now, which one's positive and which one's negative? Does anyone remember? I'm pretty sure the top ones are positive and the bottom ones are negative. But I'm going to do something really bizarre. I'm going to open up my YouTube video and double check that, because, you know, if it's around the wrong way, it's not a good thing. That's probably still protected, but let's just check anyway. YouTube. watch myself in a video. Who am I kidding? I do it all the time. Where am I? And where are we? I'm sure it's in my featured videos. There we go. And let's just go to... Oh, I've got to watch an ad. Yep, they're both powered. Skip ads. Right. Oh God, more ads. I'm hoping I can see from the video which pins I pressed to short the thing, because I honestly cannot remember. Right, yep, I've got it around the right way, and I did it. It's a couple of pins over here. Let's try the third ones along, shall we? Glory or explosion awaits. I'm just going to turn off the exhaust fan because I want to be able to hear everything here. I'm going to turn this off as well. Okay, this needs to be audible. Okay. I can't hook it up to an external monitor. Unfortunately, I don't have the adapter. The video here is not your standard like VGA output. It's some weird output. And I don't have an adapter for that, so I can't connect this up to any output, any video output. All I can test is the chime. That's all I can test. I didn't check any of the caps, so maybe I should do that. Da-da-da-da. Da-da. 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 Okay. All right. I'm ready to hit it with some volts. Okay. I'm throwing 6.5 volts at it. You're supposed to press and hold down the two buttons on the side here. I think you're supposed to hold them down for a few seconds or something. It's something you're supposed to do. So I'm going to do it just in case. Right, so, which ones? These ones? It's got a bit of a crackle and a buzz, but it definitely chimed. I suspect that a good ultrasonic clean might get rid of the crackle and the buzz, but it chimed. Which is the reset button? Reset. I'm loving that. Yeah, it definitely needs a clean. Needs to tidy up. But I tell you what, I am overjoyed to hear the sound of that chime. So, what needs to be done still? This needs to go through the ultrasonic cleaner and get properly cleaned. Absolutely, 100%. It needs to get this capacitor replaced with a new one because, as I mentioned, I only had 2 of the 47 microfarad 25 volt axials in my kit. I have run out, so I've got to order some more, and then I can replace that one. And yeah, and that's about as far as I can go with it. I can't do any more testing than this. It will have to ultimately go back to the customer and say, look, I've done this, it chimes, I know it chimes, I can't really do much more. Which I know it's a bit kind of, I don't know, it's not how I like to do things. I like to be able to properly test things before they go back, but unless someone out there donates a Macintosh Portable to me, or I come across one for a very good price, there's really not much more I can do. Too bad you can't see the video output. I know. I know this. All right. Well, look, that's all gone pretty well. I'm happy with that. So PCB way, everyone. So yeah. All right. So I am pretty happy with that. Thanks to everyone for watching and keeping me company during the live stream. I'm going to wrap things up now because I have quite a bit of other work to do. So I'm going to get on to that. Out you come. What else? I am planning a live stream coming up fairly soon where I'm going to be making an SE, Macintosh SE, from scratch, the logic board, using the Kai Robinson reverse engineered board. I was going to do it today. The one thing that stopped me was the fact that it's all through hole and it's just lots of soldering through hole pins, and I thought that's going to be hard to make interesting. But I want to try and get some more components for it because I'm still missing a lot of components for it, and then see if I can get that happening. Thank you very much, Justin, for the super chat. I'm just going to catch up here on the chat here to see if anything interesting has happened. I will be closing off soon. If anyone has any questions to ask me before I shut down, please do so now. If I missed any of the chats during the live stream, I'm sorry. It's not personal. It's just, you know, there's a lot going on. It's very hard to keep up with all of it. We've sat with a fairly solid 30-something viewers for most of the video, so I'm reasonably pleased with that. Can't complain. Alrighty. Well, everyone can go to sleep now, so that's good. I can go and have some lunch. What time is your stream tomorrow? Unfortunately, I can't stream tomorrow. I've got a family do. I've got to go out and catch up with the fam and a picnic. So, yeah, no live stream for me tomorrow. So sorry about that. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to press the little button here, and I'm going to say thank you again, everyone, for watching, and I hope to see you at the next one. And take it easy. Bye now. Thank you.